ain't got nothing to worry about, 'cause it's all good.
You know, that phrase, "it's all good," probably came out of rap culture and the black community. And so when he's talking about cold-blooded killers loose in the neighborhoods and the buildings all crumbling, he's talking about a ghetto situation. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Deciphering Dylan. I've been trying to do at least one reaction from each of Bob's many studio albums. I think there's over 30 of them that have original material. And so far, I've done about 15 of those albums. If you go onto my channel, you can pull down the playlists that list each individual album and the songs that I've done from them. But somehow I neglected to do Bob's great 2009 album, Together Through Life. I love the album, I just haven't gotten around to it. And I had a hard time deciding, which of the songs on there I should do first, until I heard the live version of It's All Good. It's not a song that he played very many times live. In fact, this particular version was the first of only 3 times that he did it back in 2009 in Chicago. And while I love the album version, this live version is just amazing. I mean, I love the really hard rock and roll bluesy sound to it. The lead guitar is phenomenal. The drumming is spectacular. Those are 2 elements that are missing in the studio version, which is a little more mellow, has an accordion instead of a lead guitar, and virtually no drumming at all.
I do the same thing with her good. You know what they say? They say it's all good, but it's all good, all good. Big competition.
Before we get into politics, that was the first of 8 verses and the chorus. I just love the sound of that. Especially you can hear the audience in the background reacting to the music and screaming, and he's shouting. Like I say, that drummer, I don't know who any of these people are. I guess it's Bob's normal backing band. But the drummer and the lead guitarist are just stealing the show here. I don't know if Bob is playing piano or what he's doing. I'm not sure if this picture is actually from that night. But it's from that era, I guess.
All good. Big competition. Living life. Restaurant kitchen. All full of flies. No big difference. Even while it's sure. It's alright. 'Cause it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
I've recently had this debate on some of the Dylan Facebook pages. People of a certain political persuasion very much want Bob to take a stand on the events of today, like he did maybe 60-some years ago when he was first coming up and he was more overtly political. This is about as political as Bob gets. He doesn't name names. He doesn't take sides. He points out that all politicians are telling lies. He's not singling out one party or one person. He's pointing out that our whole system is corrupt. And I think as an artist, that's the best place to be. I don't go with the Bruce Springsteens of the world who constantly try to put themselves into every event that happens and condemn our current president and go so far as to go into foreign countries and talk trash about the United States. I don't think Bob would ever do that. He's much too smart for that.
It's all good. Beginning to know that when I leave in a party, they never to know. I wouldn't change it, not even if I could. You know what they say, but they say it's all good.
Someone asked Bob about why he wrote this song, and he said, I guess I heard that phrase, it's all good, one too many times. And obviously, he's using it in an ironic sense here. He's talking about the disintegration of our moral order, wives leaving their husbands, leaving the party, and never making it home. I don't think he's really endorsing that as a good way for people to act, sarcastically saying, hey, it's all good. We don't care what people do anymore. So it's more commentary on the mores of our society. Here Bob is, I believe, commenting on the tendency for people to try to tear down others. Came to be known as cancel culture. A teacup of water is enough to drown, meaning even the smallest little thing, they blow up into a big scandal to try to take you down. Ever more true ever since he wrote this line, 17 years ago. That's become a dominant tactic by the news media and politicians. And they even attack entertainers now if they don't say the right thing or they feel like they're not politically correct. As always, Bob is so far ahead.
So sick, they can hardly stand. Everybody move away, only if they could. It's hard to believe, but it's all good. Well, it's all good.
I just love to let that instrumental play, and you can kind of tell when they're going into a longer break between verses when the drummer starts to rev up. As a former drummer myself, I'm very impressed with the drumming on this particular song. He's really leading the whole group. But I don't think anyone could say that people living in the country getting sick is a good thing, that it's all good. He may be referring to people that are farming the land and living in the country being exposed to agricultural chemicals, which certainly have caused a lot of controversy, especially the Roundup revolution that's with the GMO crops that come on the last 25 years. Obviously, he's not saying it's a good thing that people in the country are so sick and that they want to leave if they only could. That's desperation, not a good thing.
The way you look, there's no misery. Come along with me, baby. Oh, I wish you would. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
I don't think widows crying and orphans neglected is something that Bob is personally endorsing. But come along with me, babe. It's all good. Well, I think we do know what he means there. that phrase, it's all good, probably came out of rap culture and the black community. And so when he's talking about cold-blooded killers loose in the neighborhoods and the buildings all crumbling, he's talking about a ghetto situation. And then he says, well, you ain't got nothing to worry about. It's all good. Very ironic, sarcastic comment there. But this is why we love Bob, don't we? He tells it like it is.
Rolling in your face, we'll change it. Nah, you're not good. You know what they say, man? They say it's all good. It's all good.
Now, I did hear an organ playing in those last two instrumentals, and I don't know if that's Bob on the organ. In any case, that final verse, it appears that maybe the first line about plucking off the beard may be actually from Hamlet. Wouldn't put it past me. Bob is known for his classical references, a very literate man. In fact, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature, so don't ever doubt him. He says, this time tomorrow I'll be rolling in your place. Well, to me, that means rolling in my sweet baby's arms. He's going to steal your girlfriend after he plucks off your beard. Now, notice that in this version, I think he said pull off your beard. And he ad-libs a number of lines in here. In fact, in that last verse, he ad-libbed a line that I really couldn't make out what he was saying. I know it wasn't the published version, either of the published versions that I've seen for that line. So if somebody knows what exactly he said there, please let me know. That's the beauty of Bob. You know, he never does the same song twice. That's a true artist, that he can do a live version of this song that comes out better than the original. Not too many people that can do that. Studio, you have the advantages of mixing everything perfectly and doing continuing takes and adding and subtracting things. You have none of that in a live performance. You just let it all hang out, and then to produce something of this amazing quality is genius, folks. It's true genius. I guess that's a word that no one argues when we talk about Bob Dylan, true genius. I'm glad I discovered this live version, and I will be back to Together Through Life, I'm sure. There's a number of other great songs on there, but I'm trying to do at least one song from each album, so I need to go back and do more from the Jesus period. And I've left out some of the early albums, even his very first album. I've never done a song from that. I'm only halfway through, I guess, just getting to all the albums, although in some cases I have done 2 or 3 already from certain albums, but there's so much depth here that I'm not going to run out of songs to do for a very, very long time. And hopefully maybe Bob will come out with a new album someday. He'll be 85 next month, so no reason he can't come out with a new album, I guess, if he wasn't so busy touring all the time. Hope you enjoyed this one.